So, can a regular person, someone like you sitting at home, really beat the big shots on Wall Street? The titans of finance? It seems impossible, right? But what if I told you the answer isn't just yes, but that you might actually have a huge hidden advantage? Okay, let's get into it.
Take a look at this number. No, that is not a typo. That's the real one-year return that won Kevin McCormick the 2021 Futures Trading World Championship. And get this, he's a retail trader, just like you. He proved it's possible to get results that most billion-dollar funds can only dream about. So, how on earth did he do it?
Well, McCormick himself drops this bomb that just goes against everything you think you know about finance. He says the reality is most hedge funds, venture capitalists, and money managers underperform the market. So what does that mean? It means those giants we all think are unbeatable, well, they might not be so invincible after all.
And this really brings us to the heart of it all, this big Wall Street myth we need to just completely unpack. The idea that Wall Street has all the power, when the actual data, it tells a totally different story.
And check this out. This chart just lays it all bare. Year after year, study after study shows that a crazy high number like 80% of professional money managers failed to beat a simple market index fund. They're charging you huge fees to lose to the market. How crazy is that? So the real question isn't what they know that you don't. It's what do you have that they don't?
And that brings us to your secret weapon, your hidden advantage. It turns out being small is actually your greatest strength. Because these huge institutions, they're literally weighed down by their own massive size.
Just look at this breakdown. $1 billion fund is like a giant oil tanker. It can't just turn on a dime. They need a ton of liquidity just to get in or out of a trade, and they're tangled up in rules and investor demands. But you're a speedboat. You're nimble, you have total freedom, and you can get in and out of trades in a flash. You can explore these little pockets of the market they wouldn't even dare to touch.
And let's be real, today your arsenal is stacked. 20 years ago, sure, Wall Street had a monopoly on information. Now, you've got instant access to the exact same data they do. You have the freedom to follow your gut, to do your own research, without some nervous client breathing down your neck. Your biggest edge is your independence.
Okay, so you've got this arsenal. How do you actually use it? Well, it's not about day trading a million times or trying to build a faster algorithm. It's about something much simpler, seeing the big picture before everyone else.
McCormick calls this finding the long-term narrative. All that really means is spotting a huge, massive shift that the markets and, the talking heads on TV are either ignoring completely or just getting totally wrong. Your job is to find that gap between what people think is happening and what's really happening.
His championship win? It's the perfect example. Back in early 2021, he saw all the signs of major, generational inflation. But everyone else, the media, the markets, they were all saying, nah, don't worry about it. But he trusted his data, not the hype. He used commodity futures to place his bet. And as the rest of the world slowly woke up and caught on, his returns went through the roof.
But, okay, spotting the trend is one thing. You also have to learn how to ignore all the noise that's specifically designed to throw you off course. And trust me, there's a lot of noise. Which brings us to the media hype machine. You have to remember, most of what you see on financial TV isn't really news, it's a story. And you always have to ask yourself, who benefits from me believing this story?
This quote from him is it's a masterclass in how to read the media. He points to what happened with the lumber market during COVID. It was a niche topic, and then suddenly, bam, it's the top story everywhere. He knew that wasn't for your benefit. It was because the big players who were already in that trade needed a way out. They needed a flood of new buyers, suckers as he calls them, to provide the liquidity so they could sell and take their profits. Once you see that pattern, you can never unsee it.
All right, we've torn down the myths, we've spotted the traps, now let's get to the good stuff. Let's build an actual, practical game plan based on how a champion does it.
So the playbook really boils down to these 5 key steps. First, be realistic with your goals. You're not trying to get rich overnight, you're trying to beat the market. Second, and this is huge, keep a trading journal. Third, do the work to find those big picture narratives. Fourth, understand liquidity. You got to make sure you can sell when you want to. And finally, build the habits that create wealth over the long haul. And out of all of those, McCormick says this is the most important tool in your kit, the trading journal. This isn't just about writing down your wins and losses. It's about being brutally honest with yourself after every single trade. Did you stick to your plan? He realized he was sometimes making money on trades that were fundamentally bad decisions, and that's a dangerous habit. A journal keeps you honest and locks in the right behaviors.
And finally, you got to remember, this is a marathon, not a sprint. Check out this example he gives. If you had just invested $1,000 a month into a simple NASDAQ index fund like QQQ, over 20 years, that would have turned into over $1 million. See, it's not about one crazy home run trade. It's about consistency and harnessing the unbelievable power of compounding. So let's go back to that first question. Can a retail trader beat Wall Street? The answer is a resounding, absolute yes. The tools are here. The data is available to everyone. The big guy's disadvantages are very, very real. So the only question that's left is the one right here on the screen. What major shift is happening right now that everyone else is missing?